this event that we're calling Churolto Presents. This is one of many events. And why did we choose to do such an event? Because many people think Churolto just opened doors and then we just start selling our churros, which is far from the truth. Churolto as a brand goes through a lot of ideas, a lot of innovations, and many people don't even know about the whole brand, the whole story about Churolto. So today we'll be discussing these three things in a very, very fun way. We have a great event for you. So let's get right to it. Oh, by the way, I forgot. We also have a surprise at the end. So keep your ears open for that. Now let me get right to the point. I always say Churolto has three pillars. In simple words, this is what people know about us, and this is where the money comes from. So let's firstly talk about our first pillar, which is churreria. Why churros? Because when I first tried these things called churros, I truly believed it can be as big as a Krispy Kreme or a Dunkin' Donut. And then commercializing them all over the world was my daily job. But to take it to the next level, to take that commercialization all over the world to the next level, we did something called a Churros Week. A whole week full of just letting people know what churros are, what the hell are these things called churros, and when can I get a hand on them. And it was a massive success, let me tell you. We got all our old customers back from the past 6 years. We got some potential new customers as well. And then even our staff was extremely pleased in serving all these potential and old customers. And the crowds were absolutely massive. We haven't expected such crowds. We thought 200 people extra will come per day, 200 people extra will come per day. But let me tell you, we had over 1,000 to 2,000 people per day, and we served over 30,000 people that entire week, and it was absolutely overwhelming. It was amazing. And just to show you a few seconds of Churro Week, I would like to share a video right now.
I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day.
We sold over 60,000 churros, making it a massive success. We didn't expect such crowds. And this shows that churros is a hero product unlike any. And we proved it that people of Hyderabad absolutely adore this product called churros. And just to give you a perspective of what 60,000 churros in a week means, that's 11.9 churros every minute. That's a lot of churros. Yeah. Now, for everyone that participated during the Churros Week, everyone that came and had a taste of these things called churros and trying to make this popular, I would just like to say thank you from the entire team of Churolto. Now, coming to our second pillar, this is the most beautiful pillar we have. We made it extremely beautiful. So the patisserie pillar we have is the most intricate form of culinary we have. It's also the most complicated form of culinary because it takes hours and sometimes even 3 days to create one single product. And ironically, one of the popular pastries in the range of patisserie we have is this thing called a light brownie. Now, why is this thing popular? Ironically, again, it's low in sugars. It has 75% dark chocolate, and the best thing is it's sweetened with stevia. It doesn't have any sugar. Now, to make the second version of this product called light brownie, we had to address some issues. Now, what are the issues? It's still made with flour. It's not completely gluten-free. We wanted a better chocolate because we buy a ton of chocolate every month, and we wanted to go to our local farmers. And we wanted a new type of sweetener. I'll come to it in a while. So I would like to say the light brownie is now made completely with almond flour. So it makes it, the sponge makes it completely gluten free. So that's one thing. Oh. Now, coming to the chocolate, we wanted a better chocolate. Now why? We have shifted to locally sourced chocolate from the farms of Kerala, Karnataka and West Godavari. Since I said, we buy a ton of chocolate every month and we don't want any of the money going to Belgium. Small businesses are local farmers and these are the farms that we chose. Kerala, Karnataka and West Godavari, Andhra Pradesh. Yeah. Did you guys? And now, a new sweetener. Why a new sweetener? What's wrong with stevia? Isn't it good enough? So, a sweetener, sugar doesn't just sweeten the product, it also helps in texture, volumization. It binds with other powders. To give you a real world example, if you're constructing a building, sugar acts like a cement to the building. Now, how do you eliminate something so fundamental and try to construct a building? Well, that's what we did. Rather than me telling you about it, I would like to run a video for you right now.
How do you take a traditional product and try to make it better by eliminating the fundamental ingredient? And yes, we're talking about sugar. The light brownie starts with an almond flour sponge, 75% dark chocolate, and sweetened with stevia and sucralose. Sounds simple, not really. But let's see how we make this light brownie sugar-free. Sugar not only sweetens the product, it also helps in a rich texture, creates volume and strength by binding with other ingredients, and forms caramelization in the product. So let's go right in and see what we do to eliminate the sugar. So sugar goes through a process of separating the triglycerides into two molecules, fructose and glucose. By eliminating the glucose, you are now left with an ingredient that is low in calories and has no harmful effects to the body. Now the light brownie is assembled with a flour made out of almond flour, layered with 75% cocoa chocolate with low to no sugar, but it is sweetened with stevia and phosphate. The light brownie comes in two sizes, a pastry for one or a cake for the family. It also comes in three finishes, including our new matcha pistachio. An integral part of Chirolto is trust. Why should you trust us with this? We are so confident about the reliability of this product that we encourage you to check your blood glucose levels after. So anyone else up for it?
I think we're forgetting one more thing, yeah? It's a trust factor. If you try to consume our products and if your blood sugar spikes, we will give it for free. We are so confident on this product. It took months and months of trial and error to achieve a product like that doesn't give you a blood sugar spike. So I think we can check off trust right now. Now, the next one. Let's talk about another important element in the patisserie pillar is Chirolto's element of celebration. Now, what do you think about? What's the first thing that comes in your mind when you talk about celebrate? It's cake. So I always say cake is not just a cake. It's a center of a celebration. Not even the person that is celebrated stands in the center, but the cake is. The only thing that is shared during the celebration is love and a piece of cake. So a cake is not just a piece of cake, it's something important. Now people have been telling, you have 7 types of cakes and that covers my big celebrations. But what about my small ones? On what we did something very cool. So now we have big cakes and now we have small cakes. The names sound a little bit off, yeah? Big cake and small cake, so let's rename them. So this one we're calling them gallery cakes. And this one we're calling them boutique cakes. Now you have 4 boutique cakes to choose from. The team has worked extremely hard on this because they wanted to make it small but still make it look special. Now I think we can check off the small celebrations as well. Now, for the final pillar, the biggest pillar we have is our bistro pillar. Now the bistro pillar at Chirolto showcases a lot of dishes from all around the world. We travel all around the world mentally and then try to get the best dish that can offer and showcase it at Chirolto. And we try to respect their origins, their culture and their ingredients. Example, this pule a la pimento from Mexico. This jerk chicken from Jamaica. Or this poached lobster, the lobster is sourced from Thailand. Or this gnocchi pesto olio from Italy. Now, talking about a menu, why do we need a new menu when we have such a successful menu? Why do we need for them to take a break, formulate a new menu? So for this, I would like to call upon, to explain more about this, I would like to call upon Chef Amay, or as we like to call him, the Tank, to come and tell you more.
Thank you. So, why did we need a new menu at Chirolto? Was the new menu not good enough? And then, we spoke to a lot of customers. As Nihal said, we had some amazing pule a la pimento or Jamaican jerk chicken or many other items. But then, when we asked customers, what would you look from a menu which makes you come back to Chirolto every single day? And then most of them told us one word. We spoke to around 4,000 customers. They told one word, relatable. Now, taking that cue from that word relatable, I sat down and actually wrote a set of rules to curate Chirolto menu. And I am calling them the 10 commandments. And let me explain 3 of them to you. So the first up, relatable. What does it mean? Food has to be more comforting than surprising. What do we eat daily? Something which comforts us, not something which gives us surprise every day. So that is where relatability comes in. The second one is need for speed, because all of us are more busier than Modi today. We need everything quick, right? So we needed speed to come in. And then the last one which Chirolto loves, high on value. Because if something costs you 100 rupees, it should be at least 10x value to you. So now, taking the rules, I curated the new menu and we made 4 different categories. So if you see, sandwiches, small plates, pizza and bread bowls. Most of them have something in common. No, that's not me. It's the bread. Now why bread? Because as a chef, these are the most complex things I've worked with. They're also power packed and it takes a lot of effort to make a good bread. And what happens when you hear this name bread? What comes to your mind first? Any guesses? For me, it's a sandwich, right? And during my travel sandwich from my childhood cartoon days, and never left my mind. And it was so nice. It was just a picture perfect sandwich from my childhood cartoon days. And let me show you a video what I'm talking about.
I had it! Perfection on 2 slices of bread, which were also perfect. All that was left.
So this beautiful Japanese milk bread, we're calling it a Kyoto bread. Why this is very special? Because it develops very beautiful round gluten strands at the time of molding. It is extremely soft and it is extremely fluffy and light. And so with this Kyoto bread, I made 4 types of sandwiches, which includes the Madras curry sandwich, the smoky tangy chicken sandwich, and the OG American grilled cheese, which is actually very stretchy. Now comes the most popular dish in the world. Any guesses? No, not biryani. Who said pizza? Yeah, pizza. So pizza apparently is the most famous dish in the world. And when the entire world is going heavy doughy, thick bases, loaded pizzas at Churolto, we asked ourselves, what if a single solo person comes to Churolto? Will he be able to finish one entire pizza? And from there, we went complete opposite. We made it thin. Very thin. And then I was wondering what to name this. A knife pizza? The chef, no, always thinks about knife. A blade pizza? A razor pizza? And then I had a eureka moment. I said, let's call it a newspaper pizza. And the entire team had a unanimous no. Chef, you are bad with naming. So, let me show you what we agreed on.
There's something in the air.
So we are calling it the pepper thin pizza, and it is indeed world's thinnest pizza. At 1.9 mm every single base, it is indeed world's thinnest pizza. You don't trust me? Let's ask Google. I did this recording at 7 o'clock in the morning. Let's see what Google says. So pizza from Nono measures 2 mm in thickness, and Churolto's pizza at 1.9 mm. So it is indeed the world's thinnest. And now we have 8 new flavors to choose from, which includes the margarita, the barbecue, the lamb pepperoni, and the piri piri. And my favorite, the chili prawn, made with the smallest, freshest prawns. Now come to the third category, and in this category I wanted something which is very different, and I wanted 3 elements. I wanted a plate full of goodness, I wanted a cup full of joy, and a bread which really touches the cloud, because like I said, I like bread and bread is very good. So let me show you what we made. Calling it a cloudy pav because it is indeed as light. When you take a bite, it will fall apart and you'll feel you're touching the clouds. And with this cloudy pav, we made 6 different small plates, starting with the meatball chili, the Bombay chili chicken, and to my favorite, the keema. And this keema is inspired by the 17th century keema which was made in the Afghan and Kabul region, and that is why this is keema with the Q. And to the last category, which I said, bread bowls. Now my lifelong pursuit as a chef has been always to create something which transports you to a sea of flavors. And I think with the bread bowls, we have done it. Now don't get confused, it is not a bread which looks like a bowl. It is a little different. And then obviously, like I said, it has to come with a bread. And the bread had to be very special. So, but why bread bowls? Let me come back there. Like Nihar said in the beginning, Churolto always had beautiful looking plates, right? But I never found a simple, silly plate of goodness. It was all too fancy. And we needed something which is more simple. So earlier food would look like this, and maybe I would come once a week to eat. But now, with the new bread bowls and with the special bread, I think we will have people coming again and again. Let me show you the bread. And we are calling it a feather bread. Starting from the dough, starting from the toppings, this has taken at least 4 months of numerous trials. My team almost gave up on me because I said I want it as light that when people hold it in their hands, they should not feel the weight, and that's why that paper weight. So it is extremely light. So this is feather bread, and this is indeed, I believe, the best bread in the world. And I think when you taste, I would like to know what you feel. And with this, we made 8 different bread bowls, and which includes my favorite, the Mangalore curry, and everyone's favorite, the Goan prawn curry. So I think that's enough for the new menu, and let me hand over back to Nihal for talking about marketing and emotions.
Everyone ready? Yes. So that was a new menu. And I'm here to talk about emotion in products because the team has worked so hard on gathering the recipes, the culture, the ingredients from the past 7 months, I should say. And they had numerous trials, numerous people coming and giving absolutely negative and positive criticism, that we had to get the emotion in the products. It shouldn't just be a product that you eat, it should be something more than that. So what do I mean by that? Let me explain. Let me take this dish of a regular keema. Now, if you go back and research on it, you would find out that keema is a Lahori and Afghani dish. So they call keema with a Q. I'm feeling something. Yeah. And then, after more research, I found out that it was invented in the 17th century of Afghanistan. So 17th century keema with pav. I think I'm feeling something. Yeah. Let's call it cloudy pav. That's why we gave the shape of a cloud, which is very functional. We got special molds made for that. And then it just falls apart like it's meant to be. More. The chef said this is paneer makhni with bread. And I said I'm not putting that name. So then we researched more on the namings, origins, sourcing and inspiration. And then we found out it is invented in 1950s Delhi in a small hotel called Motimal. When a British person tried to eat something that is less spicy, the chef made something up. And then we researched even more on how they used to source the spices on the spice market. And that's where the name comes from, 1950s Delhi Makhni, inspired from the old streets, from the black and white days. And there you get some color. With feather bread. Yeah. That's how we named all the dishes. We wanted to get emotion out of it, not just a dish that you eat and go just for function. We wanted to get emotion out of each thing. So we respected the original names, the origins, culture, and the source of the ingredients, the dish, and the country. Now, I told you I have something in the last. From the past 1 week, and I was rehearsing the script, and last night I said, I just want to talk from my heart. Churolto has been a brand in making for the past couple of years. We served over many thousands of people. And it started with a very small dream of making this product called churros as big as either a Krispy Kreme or a Dunkin' Donut. And even the motivation that India should also have a global QSR of its own. Everyone thinks that Churolto just came out of the blue. I mean, we just woke up today in the morning, and then all these facilities, all these stores just came out of the blue. Churolto is now 7 years old from when we started. And let me show you how we started. We started by selling on the streets. some cringy photos. We started by selling on the streets, and we didn't take much time. We quickly gained our courage to start a small shop in Madhapur, in the streets of Madhapur. Extremely small shop. I wanted to show you this photo because I wanted to see a perspective of that person and the size of the store. It was very small. We just used to have 4 to 5 tables, and it quickly gained traction. We started breaking records every single week, and people were waiting in lines all the time, sometimes even in the rain. And we quickly had to take a bigger shop from this to this. And now these stores have not only been just a cafe or something, they have become a part of the community. They have become mini landmarks in themselves. And this was our first kitchen. If 4 people gathered in that kitchen, it would have been crowded. And I would like to show you our facility, what we have right now. One of the biggest facilities in the city. 100 people work in this facility every single day. We couldn't be happier. And also, we have something new at the storefront as well. This is our youngest store. This is the first store that we prepared ourselves. We designed and detailed ourselves. Like example, the handle should always be branded because that's the first touch between the client and the brand. It should be a good handshake because that's the first touch. And then our retail sign says the first 20% of the restaurant should have 80% of the products, because when you step inside the store, we should close the deal with you. You're not allowed to go outside. Rather than me telling you more about Churota Banjara, I would like to show you a very small video. From here to here, it has been an extremely great journey. And this is the surprise. Oh, by the way, it's just right down the corner, and a whole team of staff is waiting for you guys to have a hands-on type of a lab for the new products, what we introduced right now. And before we go over there, me and Chef Amey are open to some Q&As.
I have a question for the chef.